What's going on, everyone? NoleJP here. How's everyone doing today? Great to be back with everyone. COD XP is now done, Envy's your champ, and overall it was a pretty great event. I ended up getting a chance to visit the event last minute, and I thought it was really well put on by Treyarch and the Activision folks. I'm going to go over a lot of my positives and negatives about the games of Infinite Warfare that I did get to play, as well as things I've seen from other people's gameplays that have been posted so far. I'm not a big enough YouTube baller by any stretch of the mind to get invited to do early recordings, so more Black Ops 3 gameplay in the background at this point. I think it's some DOM on the new DLC map Berserk, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. It was a pretty good gameplay, had a lot of fun with it. What I have for you guys today is a first of many in a series breaking down all of the various parts of Infinite Warfare that we know of so far, including guns, score streak, maps, attachments, rigs, and so on and so forth. What we're going to talk about today, though, is perks. One of the things that's not being talked about in many other YouTube videos so far. Not sure why, but perks are an important piece to any loadout, so we'll do a rundown today so you guys can see what's been put out for us so far. But before I forget, if you like what you see in the video today, subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate the support. Now remember, this is what we're currently given through this initial playthrough of Infinite Warfare, so it's mostly likely what we'll see on release date for the final version, but anything can change. So let's get started. First up, we're going to do the blue set today. First up, we have Recon. Minimap shows a larger area. Gain vision from enemy UAVs. This is pretty standard from past years and wasn't in Black Ops 3. I do like the idea of bigger minimaps since it's one of the most important tools at your disposal in every game, and gaining access to UAVs from an enemy standpoint is also huge. UAVs in the game, I think, were 400 points if I remember correct, so there are usually a few of them in the air, and if you're going for big gameplays, high kill counts, and so forth, this could be very useful for you. Next up, we have Blind Eye. Undetectable by AI targeting systems, including air support and sentries. This is another one making a comeback, and based on how a lot of score streaks are in the air in this game and the targeting on some of the attachments that you can have for your guns, I could see this one getting a lot of use. To finish out the top row, we have Blast Shield, very similar to Flak Jacket from Black Ops 3, increased resistance to explosive damage. This was almost a given that this one was coming back considering its high value use in games like Domination, Hardpoint, and the S&D game mode. On the bottom blue row, we have Dexterity making a comeback, which will let you reload and switch weapons faster. I personally have a gripe with this one as they're taking away fast megs from your gun attachments, and I just happened to do a video on this about a week or so ago talking about how useful fast mags was as an attachment, and now they're making you use a perk to get that item. I really don't like this too much. I definitely think this will get a lot of feedback from the event and throughout the beta. If you guys are on the same train thought as me, definitely submit feedback as well. I really hope they make a change to this. I'll be sure to do a follow-up video when the beta comes out to talk about perks again to see what's changed, as well as doing another video when the game actually releases to see what the final outcome was. Overclock is next, which allows your payload to charge faster. Payloads go with your rig setup, and we'll get into more of those in a later video. Don't have those posted to YouTube right now, but we'll talk about them at a future point. And finally, we have Ghost making a comeback, as always, invisible to UAV and radar pings when sprinting, operating score streaks, planting, and defusing. Pretty standard with that one. So that completes the blue side. Now, even though Infinite Warfare does have boost jumping, Afterburner from Black Ops 3 is missing from the list. It's not in any of the other color sets either, so it seems like they're building the game more to be on the ground as much as possible, which everyone basically wanted from this game. The boost jumping and wall running are still there, but honestly there was a lot more boots on the ground than anything. So what do you guys think? Anything they did wrong, right, or missing from the blue side? I don't know. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Moving on to the green perks, first up on the top row we have Momentum, which is sprinting faster over time. Infinite sprinting is available in this game. You don't get tired, but this one will let you move a little bit quicker the more that you run. This might be a compensator for not having Afterburner from the blue side. Next up we have Hardline, which is making a comeback. However, this time it's a bit different. Hardline states that score streak points for assists are doubled. Now this is a big change, as in past years Hardline would give you like a 100-point reduction on score streaks, but honestly, I think that this Hardline version will help out a lot more since you're not getting kill counts as assists anymore, or when I should say you get assists, you don't get kills counting from the assist, this is a good alternative to give you something for helping out instead of just leaving you with nothing. To finish up the top green row, we have Tack Resist, which increased resistance to flash and stun effects. Nothing new with this one except that it moved from the red perk list from Black Ops 3 to the green list here in Infinite Warfare. On the bottom green row, we start with Tracker. Now this one, in my opinion, is the most controversial one that's been put out so far. What it tells us is that we see recent enemy trails even when they are cloaked. Here, enemies using dead silence. This is basically a way to counter anything in Search and Destroy and negates anyone who might temporarily have earned a cloaked ability. I think it's very overpowered and will absolutely be banned from any kind of competitive gameplay. As far as footsteps in pubs, I don't think this will really matter too much. It's hard to hear people walking anyway, even when not using dead silence, so it really may not be an issue in the public scene. Finally, we have Cold Blooded making a comeback, which making you invisible to thermal detection systems. Nothing new there. And finally, we have Scavenger, which is a permanent staple to the green list and allows resupply of ammo from dead players. The only thing I'm not sure of yet, because I didn't use this one, and of course it doesn't say, is if you will resupply lethals like grenades and so forth. So there you guys go. That's the green set. Pretty basic from what I can tell. Nothing wild other than Tracker, but we'll see if that Tracker one ends up being as overpowered as it is when the beta comes out and then the final release when they start getting a lot more feedback. And then finally on to the 6 red perks, starting with Gun Ho, which is making a comeback from Black Ops 3. Allows you to shoot, use equipment, and score streaks while sprinting. Not really a big use of mine because most of the things this perk does is very minor, as you can usually take a second to call in a score streak and can still move relatively normal when shooting in the game. Pinpoint is up next, which outlines enemies when dealing or taking damage with projectile weapons. It's almost like you're seeing through walls with this one in a sense. Kind of on the fence with it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes when the game comes out and get to play it a little bit more. Hardwired is next and moved over from the green list in Black Ops 3. Immune to EMP effects, blocks equipment or abilities that outline you for enemies. This is basically your counter to someone running the Pinpoint perk, which we just spoke about. One interesting thing is that in the Infinite Warfare game that was playable, EMPs were not selectable in the list, which definitely goes to show that either 1, the perk list is garbage and these might change, or 2, there will be more items available in the final release than what we had to play with. My guess is the latter, since EMPs are always a COD staple, and I'm guessing they'll probably be back. Finally, in the red set, we have Marksman. Acquire enemy names from a greater distance and reduce flinch on sniper rifles. This one, in my mind, is good and bad. It can really help to give you an early look, per se, if you were attacking an area with a sub and wanted to see if someone was ahead of you from distance, but it's also bad because it reduces sniper flinch. Personally, snipers should have to deal with flinch at all times. I don't think they should get any assistance when being shot at. You don't stop flinching when you're running an SMG or an assault rifle and have to stay alive, so why give a sniper any other exception? Just my thoughts, but you'll ask yourself the same question when you get lit up by a sniper after you've put a few shots into them and they still seem to be sitting in the same place and have now killed you. But that's all I have to say about that. So we'll see how it turns out. And then to wrap up the last row of reds, we have 2 of your more common perks of Engineer, which detects enemy equipment and score streaks through walls and delays activation of enemy mines, which honestly you don't really need to use this one too much. With boost movements and the pace of the game, you're most likely going to outrun a trip mine that is on the ground or wall and have an opportunity to react before it takes you out. I'll actually throw up a quick screen cap for you guys of a trip mine that was thrown on a wall that actually has a color beam coming out of it. Not sure if the final version of the game will have this length of beam or not, but it definitely helps avoid these items. So maybe it was just a counter from some feedback received through the Black Ops 3 version of this trip mine. And last but certainly not least, you have Dead Silence. Footsteps and jump packs are now silenced. This is basically a combo that includes the blue perk Blast Suppressor from Black Ops 3, so overall not a bad list, probably one of the more powerful lists in my opinion. It's pretty interesting how some of these things were moved around from Black Ops 3 to Infinite Warfare and what was combined. Personally, I think a lot more people will create classes based on the blue and red perks and maybe just one out of the green based on how these are laid out thus far. This really isn't anything new, as more useful perks in Black Ops 3 were from these two color sets. You can definitely see how they tried to counterbalance some of the reds with some of the other red items as well. A little interesting thing there. So with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed the run-through of what we know about perks thus far. If you like these, hate these, want to see other things such as slight changes, like I mentioned with the dexterity, definitely comment below. I'm curious what everyone else thinks about the setups. Maybe you guys have some ideas of what could be done to counter people using tracker. I don't know. We'll see. A long time before the game comes out. Plenty of time for them to make changes. Anyways, I'll be back with more videos to break down more of the items from the playable IW game so far in the next few days. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video today, and keep up with everything that I do going forward in Infinite Warfare and the remainder of Black Ops 3. Thank you guys for your support, as always, for spending a few moments watching my videos as well. The gameplay in the background will be finishing up pretty soon, so enjoy the rest of that, and I will see you guys on my next video.